The tool, of course, that started it all was Google Earth. And we began to realize there's something here. We should turn this into a program where we support environmental groups and any groups that are trying to use maps to make the world a better place.
Such as flood forecasts,
the evolution of the forest,
environmental monitoring.
I wanted to share some examples because stories are important to talk about.
I was inspired by my previous attendance at Geo for Good, seeing all the work that all of you are doing.
It's such an honor to be here. I've heard about this summit for years now.
Today, I'm going to share my experience using Google Earth Engine.
We're here to show you some things about what's new in Google Earth.
Go forth, please, and change the world.
So that's how it started, and we're still at the beginning of our dreams of what we plan to do.
I've attended Geo for Good since 2016.
I've attended 4 Geo for Good summits.
I've attended 8 Geo for Good summits.
I've attended 4 Geo for Good summits.
I have been to all of the Geo for Goods.
I've attended, I think, all of them.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, we've accomplished a lot.
Including a vibrant international community working on Earth science applications.
The power of three-dimensional mapping for indigenous community.
We've put digital tools in the hands of many communities, practitioners and students.
We've connected an international community of women in remote sensing.
We learned that there is a lot of forest regrowth in the Amazon.
I work with the Amamutsan tribal band in California's Central Coast. We're using Earth Engine to locate and track changes in native plants that are culturally important to the tribe.
We use Google mapping tools to help us better map and monitor the health of our nation's forests and grasslands.
We use Google Map tools to understand the balance between forest fire and forest recovery.
Geo for Good inspired me to apply Google mapping tools in innovative ways for land monitoring and train others on how to do it.
Geo for Good inspires me to keep learning and to remain optimistic.
When I'm at Geo for Good, I feel energized.
When I'm at Geo for Good, I feel like home with my people, mi casa, con mi gente.
I keep coming back to Geo for Good because it connects me with others who share a common goal.
I also get to meet great people and make connections.
Every year, there's always something in your plan, something that we could make our work better.
I keep coming back to the Geo for Good because of the invaluable partnerships.
I keep going back to Geo for Good, honestly, because it is a lot of fun.
When I'm at Geo for Good, I feel like I'm surrounded by the people who are going to save the world.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca, and welcome to our 10th annual Geo for Good Summit. Welcome to our friends and partners, some of whom we've known for over 10 years, and some who we're meeting for the first time. I just have to say, do you have goosebumps from that community video we just looked at? I do. I'm kind of sheepish to admit that after all these years, I still get emotional about the collective mission of this amazing community that we all share to make the world a better place. And it's not just through maps and geospatial technology, but it's so clear to me now that the real secret sauce in all of this is not actually the technology, as proud as we may be about that. It's really the Geo for Good global community. It's all of you who are creating fundamental new science, new knowledge about our changing planet. You're raising awareness. You're working with local communities on the ground. You're in academia, civil society, in the halls of government and enterprises. You're overall enabling more informed, inclusive, equitable decisions and actions. It's also about collaboration. I love that about this community. Learning from each other, brainstorming novel ideas together, inspiring each other. You generously share data, algorithms, maps, code, training, troubleshooting assistance on projects. And it's also great to see you having fun. So this year, our 10th annual summit, we really wanted the theme to be about celebrating this amazing, magical Geo for Good community. All of you. Celebrate how together we've been able to create impact that is far bigger than the sum of our parts, as individuals or as organizations. I'm welcoming you from approximately the same place as last year's virtual summit. That was in the forest near my home. This is up closer to my house, but overall, this is the traditional home of the Ohlone people, which I wanted to acknowledge. And in many ways, this forest represents the origins of our team here at Google. This was where 15 years ago, I joined my neighbors to help stop the logging of 1,000 acres of redwood forest within sight of here with the help of Google Earth. From that experience, I learned that mapping tools could be helpful to nonprofits, scientists, and other change makers in creating awareness, insights, and impact. It's great to be back with you again, even if virtually. It's been over a year since we last met online for the 2020 Geo for Good Summit. Of course, we were hoping, as I'm sure you were, that we'd be back together in person this year, but we decided to wait another year in order to ensure that we can keep the community safe, so that we can all have another 10 years or more of Geo for Goods in the future. Just like last year, we're excited to see more than 1,000 of you registered for the summit from all over the world. This is the silver lining of being virtual, that so many of you can travel to join us. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years of Geo for Good. In many ways, we've kind of grown up together. As our team has grown, the summit has grown. From our initial launch of the Google Earth Outreach program in 2007, to launching the program in Europe, South America, Australia, Africa, and Asia, from the trainings and workshops we hosted in those early years, and then Train the Trainer workshops where a number of you stepped up to share knowledge and best practices around the world, to the very first Geo for Good Summit in 2011. I have to call out, the Geo for Good Summit was the brainchild of Google Earth Outreach lead, the legendary Raleigh Seamster, who many of you know for so many contributions, including groundbreaking work with many of you on programs and technology for Indigenous peoples and local communities. Geo for Good has grown so much over the years that in 2019, when we last met in person, we took over Google's entire premier event center, and we're looking forward to doing that again next year. Maybe Google needs to build a bigger building for us. And our tools have grown with the help of feedback from you all. Think about the original Google Earth, launching in 2005. Earth Engine, which launched in 2010. My Maps came in 2013. Super excited about the launch of the new Google Earth on web, Android, and iOS in 2017. Google Earth Studio in 2018. And also in 2018, the Environmental Insights Explorer. These tools are used and loved by hundreds of millions of people around the world. That said, we really view you all as the power users, the ones who push this tech to its limits, who apply it for the greatest good, and who honestly challenge us to make it even better. So this year, like every year, we've been hard at work cooking up some new features for you that we're excited to share. And you will be hearing more about them today. Some of them are ready for public release, have been recently released, while others are still in the oven, but they've reached the stage where we're ready to share with a small select community of trusted testers. And guess what? Lucky you. As registered attendees at Geo for Good, you will all be eligible to be trusted testers for these new features. And you'll be receiving an invitation to participate if you would like. We do really, really appreciate your feedback. So to give you some sense, let's take My Maps. We recently launched attribution in My Maps. We were seeing how My Maps were being used for crisis and COVID response by authoritative organizations. We wanted to make it easier for you to show who is the authoritative source for a My Map. Or take Google Earth. We're really focusing on bringing power features from Earth Pro, Classic Earth, to New Earth on web. We're also introducing a few new features that have never existed before. These features we will be releasing to trusted testers, and as I mentioned earlier, you'll be getting an invitation to try them out. For example, tiled overlays. This is the ability to bring a layer produced externally to Earth as an overlay in Earth. KML to cloud, mobile content creation. The tiled overlays is a great example of a feature that the community, you all have been asking for a long time. It allows bringing, for example, content that you created in Google Earth Engine, exporting it, and then viewing it in 3D on Google Earth. Teradapt applied this for a really interesting example you're going to see later this week, and they said just adding that additional dimension from 2D to 3D was like a 10x in comprehension. So please do keep telling us about where you want to see either new features or integration between different products that we have, because we do listen. Some of you may have seen that we recently announced Earth Engine Cloud Preview. We're making Earth Engine available to enterprises, governments, and businesses. We're very excited about this. We expect it to be generally available next year. And when that happens, we're planning some special programs that will also be available for scientists, civil society, academia. And by the way, it goes without saying, we've said it multiple times, even though we're launching this enterprise version of Earth Engine remains free for non-commercial use by NGOs, scientists, educators, everyone who's been able to use it free non-commercially until now. Nothing changes. Also coming soon is the inclusion of Google Earth Engine as part of the Google Developer Experts Program. This is a global network of technology experts, influencers, and thought leaders who actively support developers and user communities. There are nearly 700 experts around the world representing more than 18 different Google technologies. And now Earth Engine will be added to that list. So if you're interested in applying to become an Earth Engine developer expert, or even nominating someone you know who you think is an expert, stay tuned to our Medium blog. We're going to have more information there. And in fact, the Medium blog, I'll put in a plug for that, that is a great place to get latest and greatest announcements and learning about great work that is being done by the community. What's next? Well, every year we try to learn. We like to try new things. We also wanted to be cognizant of this year's gathering as a digital virtual event. So instead of planning for a lot of hands-on training sessions, we front-loaded the technical training by launching our Journey to the Summit program, in which we aired 10 training sessions. More than 6,000 viewers joined us over the last 2 months. We're super excited to see people taking these trainings, and even as we go back to in-person events in the future, we do plan to keep using this hub to connect with our community all over the world. I mentioned the silver lining thing. This has been perhaps a silver lining of the past 18 months, as it's motivated our team to create a more accessible, globally inclusive approach to Geo for Good, and we do plan to continue the best elements of that going forward. This year we're trying another experiment that we're really excited about. In place of the hands-on trainings, we've worked with a number of you to organize the summit into 5 different thematic programs, including Climate Science, Communication and Action, Forest and Nature, Sustainable Supply Chain, Crisis Response, and Social Inclusion. As you can see in the agenda, each of these will be action-packed with contributions from a number of you who are leading experts in the field at the cutting edge of progress. So we're really excited to be able to put a spotlight on the amazing work that is happening across these areas. We're hoping these specific themes can help all of you learn about specific data sets and methods that are relevant to your field and connect with other users and community members that are doing similar work. We realize that folks are exhausted with screen fatigue, so hopefully this new format also optimizes your time so you can zero in on what matters most to you. So given these 5 focal themes, we wanted to prime the pump, as it were, by sharing a few notable accomplishments by the Geo for Good community in these areas over the past year. This afternoon, we'll have the first program on climate. Last year, as Google, we announced Google's commitment to help hundreds of cities worldwide reduce a gigaton of carbon annually in aggregate by 2030. We're now seeing cities taking action using the Google Environmental Insights Explorer. Cities like Broomfield, Colorado, Houston, Texas, San Jose, California, Orlando, Florida, Asheville, North Carolina. These are in the US. There's also cities all over the world that are taking action. We also see the scientific community helping to fill fundamental data gaps in what cities need to take action, such as the air quality launch in Copenhagen and now in Dublin and Hamburg, where we're providing street-level, hyper-local air quality information that enables cities to make climate action plans to create cleaner cities. Flood mapping science. Cloud to Street had an amazing project that was on the cover of Nature, which used Earth Engine to quantify the extent of flooding caused by significant flooding events since 2000, estimating the number of people affected and making projections of future risk resulting from climate change and population growth. Let's look at Google Earth and Earth Studio for communication. We've also seen you all use our tools for climate communication. For Earth Day this past year, we launched time-lapse in Google Earth, which brought 37-year history of the planet in 4D, revealing incredible impacts of climate change. That was a collaboration with NASA, USGS, European Space Agency, and the European Union. Greta Thunberg and Conservation International used those time-lapse videos to create an award-winning film called Nature Now. Climate Central is using Earth Studio to visualize sea level rise in ways that are very dramatic, very compelling. Tomorrow at the Forest and Nature session, we're going to take a look back 10 years to the groundbreaking work that Matt Hansen did, Global Forest Change, that then WRI took and produced Global Forest Watch. That has led to a 17% reduction of deforestation in Africa. Those techniques have been fundamentally traditional machine learning. The next wave is deep learning. And there's a great opportunity to accelerate science and understanding by pairing these two approaches of classical and deep learning. So we're really excited to focus on this tomorrow. Another exciting collaboration is the Wildlife Insights Project, which is using field sensor data to inform more frequently updating species distribution modeling, applying AI to wildlife camera trap data. The next session we have is on sustainable supply chain sourcing. The focus is on supply chain transparency. And we have a number of commercial companies that are joining us this week. It's been really exciting to see the commitments that companies are making to eliminate deforestation from their supply chain, for example. And we know that if we're going to solve these critical challenges, governments and businesses have to be part of the solution. In terms of sustainability, another fantastic launch recently was OpenET, which provides critical information for water management in the western United States, much of which is currently facing unprecedented drought. OpenET is using thermal satellite imagery and meteorological data to estimate the amount of water consumed by plants and transpired into the atmosphere. We're super excited how 6 separate modeling teams have collaborated on developing a unified, harmonized synthesis of evapotranspiration algorithms. And this accelerates the rate of scientific progress, getting insights into the hands of the end users. The next session is going to be on social inclusion. There's a couple things I'll call out about that one. First, there's a project called Plus Codes, which is bringing addresses to more than 1 billion people around the world who literally do not have addresses today. It's a serious problem of economic and social inclusion that people cannot be reached. They don't have the ability to vote, they can't open a bank account, and so on, because they don't have an address. Plus Codes can solve that problem. And we recently launched Address Maker that gives governments the opportunity to scalably create addresses for their citizens. Super excited that the government of Gambia has been a leader in doing this, and you'll see here some examples of people getting addresses for the first time. Also at this session on social inclusion, you'll hear from ECOM and from traditional and indigenous communities and the way they're using these tools to create positive change. Indigenous people and local communities in Brazil are among the most vulnerable during this pandemic. And the Quilombola communities, they've been using Google Earth for mapping and monitoring of their lands, and they pivoted to applying this to COVID response in the last year. These mapping technologies have continued to play a fundamental role as they collected updates and on-the-ground data on the impacts of the pandemic to inform decision-making. There have been some really important impacts from this. As a result of this work, more than 1 million Quilombola people have been set as a priority by the Brazilian National COVID Vaccination and Response Plan. They're also being represented in the Brazilian National Census for the first time. They're being included in the National Census for the first time as a result of this mapping work. If that isn't social inclusion, I don't know what is. The final session we'll be doing is on crisis mapping, crisis response. There's a number of topics there, but one in particular is really important right now, which is wildfires. As I think everyone knows, there's been an increase in the severity and frequency of wildfires around the world. And there's a need for high quality, fresh, accurate, timely information to help assist with response, with recovery, and even with prediction. And we're seeing Google Earth Engine being used by a number of you to do really groundbreaking work on the science side, and then, for example, the U.S. Forest Service, managing hundreds of millions of U.S. forest land using Earth Engine. Now, one thing that we did as the Google Earth Engine team, we are using Google Earth Engine to analyze NASA GOES near real-time imagery and thermal information to continually detect the boundaries of wildfires, updating every 15 minutes, and then publishing that into Google Search and Google Maps. So now if you go in and you do a search on, let's say, Dixie Fire, you'll see the boundary, the perimeter of that wildfire continually updating in Google Maps and in Google Search, powered by Earth Engine. We're super proud. That's the first actually Google Search result that's powered by Earth Engine and is put in the hands of 1 billion people around the world. You can do that too, because we're using the same platform, the same data, the same capabilities in Earth Engine that are available to everyone. So those are the 5 sessions. And as I said at the top of this, we have like world-leading experts, you guys, participating in this. It's a great opportunity to learn and exchange understanding. All right, with that, I want to thank you all for joining us. And I really want to wish you a great summit. As I like to say every year, eat your Wheaties. It's going to be action-packed. All right, with that, over to you, Raleigh.